Gotham. Get ready for that hard out that everybody loves to see. Boom! Hard out, hard in, right? I don't know which way. I'm just gonna start using bone out. I like using bone out. That one's from Boba Squadron. It is just me for the moment. Lexi's stuck in traffic. So it's all good. So we're gonna start the Robin talk when she gets there, which is why I put a couple extra things in the description tonight, just so that we could talk about them, because I'm sure she wants nothing to do with it. But until then, before we do that, let me do my usual plugs. So we are well on our way to 1,000 subs, and thank you to everyone who's watching that has already subscribed. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. We have prizes, and we're gonna have members only prizes, all sorts of crazy stuff when we hit that 1,000 mark. We got statues, prints, toys. You saw the one that they showed off, that Todd showed off on yesterday, Tuesday, right? That Superpowers Batmobile. You know one of those is going to be up for grabs. I don't care how easy they'll be to find. I don't care if they're $30. It's still going to be one of those prizes. We all need one. Everybody needs one of those Batmobiles, and I can't wait. I want to show Lexi. I don't think she has seen this thing, or if she has, I don't think she cares. But I want to get her reaction on this Batmobile as well. So we'll get to that when she gets here. But yes, please subscribe. We got lots of stuff coming our way. We just got to build the channel first so we can get there. So right now, I'm going to say hello to the chat, see how everybody is doing. Sean Parks, that's all good. I saw this 3 hours ago, dude. But thank you. Thank you. Yeah, hope you enjoy the replay. Shiny plastic people, do not worry. We're not here to hate on Tim. We're actually more concerned. Allison Troy, you know what? DC needs to stop trying to get rid of Robins. You know what? DC needs to stop adding them. That's my point of view on that. We could probably have not brought some back from the dead. Derek Hoover is here. Chinovo, Stephen Lawrence, Gotham Stalker, dude. Thank you for being here. Flash 739, Matt Bush. So many yos, dude. Calm down. It's okay. Randall, thank you for being here. Just saw the new Superpowers wave. It was going to be a classic Batman, Tim Drake, Robin, Aquaman, Black Manta, a new Wonder Woman, maybe Zoom, Reverse Flash, plus Batman 130. Yeah, dude, so much. But that's just, it's going to be insane. I cannot wait. I think Friday is going to end up being a pretty big deal on those pre-orders. Toy Art is here. I can't chat much. Dude, I get it. I am on such a deadline myself at the moment. If anyone watched Toy Anxiety yesterday, you probably saw me zone out a couple times just to do some work. But that's it. After this week, 1 month vacation. Cannot wait. Get the F out. I believe this is a new channel. This is the Silva Surfer, Kayla Silva. This is her another endeavor. She's got Peaches and Pickles. She's got Geek the F out. I think, or if I'm wrong, you're in the chat. Correct me. Either way, I know she's being like, yeah, wrong account. So it's definitely Kayla. Allison Troy, still here. Night 2, dual serving shirt action. That's what it's all about. So it's all about. Even though I told myself when I started the show that I wasn't going to be another YouTuber that just wears graphic tees. I just didn't have time to change between work and here. But that's all right. It's all good. Harry Dempsey is here. Steve King is here. There we go. Kayla, there you go. Right? Doing it right. Doing it right the first time. KJ Smith, the Dolmeister. Nice. All right. Ryan B is here. Awesome. Dude, I'm having a great night. I hope you're having a great night. Mike Miller, plug us dollars. Oh, dude, I like that. Jack Knight 73, happy that you are here hanging with us. Brian Sigourney? Sojourner? Oh gosh, I butchered that. I am so sorry. But thank you for loving the show. Right. So happy you're here. Thanos Copter is here. Hi, Brandon. 3G. Thank you. Highly articulated Snyder Who. Well, guess what? He had his own convention, this Snyder Who. And it was seems like we'll get into it. Boba Wave, thank you for being here. Dude, what's up? Batman's up. Cougar McGillicuddy, all the yos, loving it. All right, 80s experience. Oh my gosh, Batmobile mania, no kidding. I I said it the first time. Awesome. Thanks, Brian. Awesome. Okay, so while we wait for Lexi, let's talk about this SnyderCon that happened. Oops, that came out really condescending. Uh the SnyderCon that happened seemed like it was a huge thing for the Snyderverse fans. They had a pretty small theater. They had a pretty small window of Q&A, and they, I guess everything had to get rushed and cut short because I guess Super Mario Brothers had to play, so everyone got rushed out. But they had DJ there, their VFX Soup dude. He was there. He's a great guy, by the way. He's like one of the nicest dudes and one of the easiest guys to work for. He's great. So I will always give him props. Of course, Snyder was there. I can't. And then they surprised everybody with Ben Affleck coming out, and I think they just watched the Snyder cut of Justice League. Yeah, there. Sorry, that's really funny. Don't worry, there'll be a Snyder cut of SnyderCon. Don't worry, yeah, it's coming. It's probably coming. But they talked about their plans that they wanted to do, and I think there were a lot of fans that went there expecting a big, huge announcement and a big, huge return of the Snyderverse. That there was going to be a new movie, all sorts of crazy things. Of course, none of that happened. I don't think people. I noticed a lot of fans. And you know what? This isn't just Snyder Cut fans. I mean, I've heard Craig, Abby, and Jacob on Yes Have Some talk about movies, and it's all total bullshit. So I mean, it makes sense that these fans would do the same and have no understanding of how movies are made and how licensing works, which is fine, right? I didn't know anything until I got into the industry. I still feel like I barely know what the hell's going on. So with that said, Snyderverse Justice League Part 2 is not it's not going to Netflix. Snyderverse will not be going to Netflix at any point in time. And that's okay. But they did talk about some ideas, I guess, that they had that they wanted to do and move forward with. I think one was a rumor, but I think they kind of confirmed it. They were going to go to the future, and it was going to be Lois Lane saying, "Oh, here, I want to take you to your dad's place," and it's the Batcave, showing that Lois Lane and Bruce Wayne had a kid together, which is totally messed up. I don't think we need that in our lives. The other one was making Wonder Woman Kryptonian. I also don't believe we needed that in our lives. Ben Affleck was there. Again, he talked about why he stepped out. He kind of said he was getting bored with it and that all the stuff that they wanted to do was going to be too big and take up too much time. And that's just something that man does not have. And I believe it. And I think he even said, hang on, I'm trying to find the thing here. Just him talking about, the movie when everyone else is really bored and doesn't want to watch it again. And I'm sick of it. I'm exhausted of the whole process. So I'm not, that was him, about him stepping down as directing for anything Snyderverse, or maybe just in general. I'm actually not too sure if he's still. I think he stepped down from doing anything for James Gunn as well. I have no idea. I really have no idea. But I do. I don't know. I thought this was cool, and I kind of hope. I think. Oh, Ray Fisher was there as well, right? And talking. I think they were trying to talk about his favorite, or not his favorite, but how his role was supposed to be bigger in part of this whole series as well. But I'm hoping this gives the Snyderverse fans some closure. I think they need it. I think they need it more than any other fandom has ever needed closure, or at least be told, "Hey, like we're done. So just chill out." So it'll be, it'll be interesting to see how things. I don't know. I get Snyder Cut stuff trending on my Twitter all the time, but that's only because of who I follow and the stuff that I interact with, which is a lot of comic book related accounts. So uh, we'll see. We'll see. Uh, let's see. What do you think? What do you think, chat? Let's see here. What do we? Everyone's still talking about Batmobiles, which is cool. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. All right. No, it's all good. Yeah, I know. There's a little bit of like, SnyderCon, right? Snyder's gonna release the deli cut, if only cold cut, just anything, right? We'll see. Allison, I bet in 10 years we get a Snyderverse 7-issue limited series comic. I'm still surprised they just don't do it now. I mean, right? Like a Snyderverse. I've been a fan of Snyderverse. However, with even that said, I say just give him a comic. Give him a comic. And speaking of the comics as well, Jim Lee got promoted. He is president of DC Comics. That is insane. If Amy Adams and Ben Affleck had a child, it would be extra beige. Okay, that's really funny. That's really, really funny. Flash 739, the JLo booty came back into his life and he was too busy for anything else. Dude, I think Ben just has a lot going on. I think he's got to do what's best for him. Derek Hoover, the description is sort of on par with, I believe, the McGee or was it Abrams idea for an odd Superman movie in the early 2000s. I don't know. There are some bizarre ideas floating around then. There was a lot. And I think, when you're thinking about early 2000s, I think of that Justice League. And I know that even back then, DC really wanted to do a Batman versus Superman movie. And I was always just like, that's dumb. And then years later, like 10 years later, I end up working on the actual movie, and I'm still just like, how did that all come around? Lucha Johnny, thank you for being here. Allison Troy, Ray Fisher was robbed. WB needs to fix that. You know what else W needs to fix? They need to get rid of Jeff Johns. Get him out of here. Anytime I read anything about Jeff Johns, it's not a good thing. Right? Derek Hoover can't blame Affleck. We cannot blame him. The A's experience, closing the door on it makes sense now. Aging actors, DC going in different direction, cinematically would be confusing to the casual fan. I agree. I don't know if necessarily I agree about the aging actors. I mean, I've seen, how long did they use Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man? And I'm sure, given the opportunity, Marvel would use Robert Downey Jr. for Iron Man again. I honestly do believe that 100%. Right? Aging actors, I don't know. I think a lot of that you can cover that up. VFX cosmetically goes a very, very long way. We are at that point now. We can look at Indy. Look at the Indy trailer. Looking young as shit. Toyer, no more Jeff Johns, especially after Doomsday Clock. Oh man, you know what sucks about? Well, okay, a lot sucks about Doomsday Clock, but the art is not one of them. All right. Well, I have nothing else really to say about this. Let's take. I'm going to see what else we have for comic book announcements. I really want to see if there's anything neat in the solicitations. And or we can even talk about IDW doing all those layoffs and restructuring. That totally came out of the blue. And again, I hope for everybody, any artists and writers and editorial and any of that stuff affected by the IDW restructuring, I guess that's what they call it. But all those layoffs, I really hope everyone's doing okay. Oh, Lexi's almost here. Oh, you need some of that sweet. Okay, hang on. I'll get you some of that sweet, sweet music. I can do that for you. There we go. There you go. That's for you, Derek. All right, let's take a look. Let's see if we got some solicitations while we wait for Lexi. And I don't think they should be out yet. I'm really not too sure. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I was not prepared to delay today's big topic. That's all right. Let's take a look here. DC publishers. Let's see what we got. Oh, this is all running slow for me now. Yes. Right? Oh, Lexi's trying. I see her. Jim Lee leading DC after years ago to start a rival company is wild. Oh my God, 80s experience. I was thinking about that too. About like, well, you got to remember, like that Image Comics, when all those guys changed the entire industry, like 100%, and it still blows my mind that these guys are now like they're running the corporations. I mean, like Eric Larson is still a busy guy, even though he's not like, you know, he's he's not running a corporation by any stretch of the means, but I mean the guy is still crazy busy. Same with Mark Silvestri, like he's still working on big major titles. Todd, of course, runs everything that Todd does. It blows, and Liefeld too, you know. It's just like, I know everyone gives Liefeld shit, but he's also a very, very wanted dude, that Rob Liefeld. Well, somebody's almost here. We will see. She can jump in whenever she's ready to rock. And there she is.
Hey, you'll have to let me know if my connection is spotty tonight, because.
Well, I feel like I'm watching a webcam from circa 2001. It wasn't that bad. You can come back. Right, but it's all good. Let's see. Let's see what's going to happen with Jim Lee here. It says Jim Lee has multiple positions over DCs over the years. Correct, right? Chief creative. All that stuff. And that was announced. That was today. Right? But that's it. They don't really talk about much more. He's leading the creative teams. He also leads the creative efforts of the publishing portfolio of characters, stories across all media, supporting Warner Brothers Discovery's family of brands and studios. So remind me that if we ever get to see Jim Lee again, or if I ever get to meet Jim Lee again, I need to ask him about, like, hey, let me be in charge of toys, and let me talk directly to Todd, because I think I deserve that. Well, that's me. Me saying I deserve that sounds very, very entitled, but that's okay. It's fine. Okay. Well, Lexi's looking more clear on my end at the bottom, but we'll see. We will see. Let's see. Let's check out to see.
Okay, I think it's clearing up.
Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Let's find out.
Yes, you're looking much more clear. I can see
Yay.
a face. You look great.
Oh no, now you're frozen on my screen.
It's okay. But you can hear me, correct?
I can hear you.
Okay.
This is super fun. Still working out the kinks of being in a new space.
But it's okay. It's okay.
There is a crazy delay on my end. I'm hearing you. Like, I think, like, it is like I am on the moon and you are at NASA headquarters right now. Like,
Oh, well, communication disruption can only mean one thing.
oh no.
Invasion. Right? But Lexi, I'm going to let you have the floor.
I'm going to try one more thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. She's going to try one more thing. I'm going to go to our good friend, Jay, over at Geek Dad Life. And I want to pull up this Batmobile. Because we are all jonesing for Batmobiles. Everybody's looking for Batmobiles. Different scales, different companies. Everybody has a Batmobile that they want to sell. And unfortunately for me, everyone has a Batmobile that I want to buy. Let's see if I can get this to. Nope, that did not work as I hoped. That's okay. All right. So here we go. Here's a nice small picture of the Superpowers Batmobile. Right? I think we are all set. I think we are all excited. I did point this out on, so for anyone who did not tune in to Toy Anxiety yesterday, I did do a slight breakdown on this. But before we get started, Hung, thank you for being here. Also, yeah, Dole, did you see the new Spin Master 4-inch Batmobile 2-pack? Ours in the States is the Walmart exclusive. I haven't even had a chance to look yet. But I'm not going to be looking for that Batmobile. I'm going to try. I want to get the remote control one because I'm crazy. I'm out of control, right? But this Batmobile, the more I look at it, the more I love it. I love the color on this. I think that's a battering ram bat head that comes out of the front. I love the new sculpts of the Batman, of Batman, because he's clearly got a new body sculpt. They clearly were taking feedback, which is great to see, because some companies just go, no, we're just going to do things our way. These are our superpowers, right? No. They went for it. They clearly went and they went and improved everything, and good on them. And I honestly can't wait. And if Wonder Woman's Invisible Jet and the Batmobile go up on Friday, as well as Black Manta, Reverse Flash, a new Wonder Woman, Batman, Robin, right? All these characters, Aquaman, if all these go on pre-order on Friday, it's going to be a gong show. Maybe we'll even get some official looks finally of a lot of these. I know there's been some leaked images of a Reverse Flash, but that was months ago. It feels like a lifetime now. And here's these Batman and Robin, and there was a leaked the Kurt Cobain Aquaman. I think that's what everyone was referring to it. I can't remember. But that has me, I don't know. This is super, super exciting. I'm kind of hoping for not just announcements of new figures. I'm still holding out for that playset. I really, really, really want a Superpowers playset of some sort. And if there turns out to be a lot of announcements, I will announce it here now, that we are going to do, like myself, Geek Dad Jay, and Craig, we are going to we're going to stream here on Gotham City tonight, and we're going to talk about and break down all the new Superpowers reveals and figures. That's it. Thank you. Nickelback Aquaman. My boy, Chad Kruger. Right? British Columbia, proud. We love Nickelback here on Gotham City tonight. It's our favorite band. We're going to get Chad Kruger to write us a theme song. He's our boy. We'll get, we'll get Celine Dion to do one for us too. I don't see why not. All of us Canadians, we know each other. But yeah, I'm super excited to see this. I think the Wonder Woman is supposed to be a repaint now. I can't remember. But regardless, I'm all for this new set of Superpowers. Oh, poor Lexi. She's bumping in and out. She's not having a good time. Okay. It's all right. We got this. And then, so we're going to have Craig Craig and Jay on Friday. So if there does end up being a big reveal of all these new superpowers, we're going to do a big special edition episode on this channel. Just to kind of break it down, go through them, pick them apart. And you know what? I love talking about superpowers. That's what I want to talk about. So that's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to do it on my channel. So it's my turn on this one, and it's my turn to host it. The other thing I want to also acknowledge is that, you know, I won't be here next week. I will be out of town. So it'll probably be just Lexi. So you get a little alone time with Lexi, finally, right? Derek Hoover, do we think we will see a playset? I hope we get some. I always hold out hope every time there's a big Superpowers announcement that we're going to get a playset. I'm hoping if we don't get one, like, I don't understand, like, only because these pre-orders are going up, am I working myself into a shoot, right? I'm working myself into a shoot thinking that we're going to get all these big things coming on Friday. I have no idea what's going on. That's just my brain and my excitement taking over and not thinking clearly. However, I do hope at San Diego Comic-Con, which is actually only in a couple months now, which is insane to me. I'm really hoping that a playset gets announced. Now, I'm not going to hold my breath over that, but I would love to see one. Because if we get one, I'm hoping Superpowers will go the route of Origins and give us some really cool stuff. And I wouldn't even mind if they did a giant playset of some sort, that they did like a crowdfunder. Chat, let me know what playsets you want to see from the Superpowers line, or if there's any playsets you want to see. Maybe you're anti playsite, right? Maybe that's what you are. I don't know. But yeah, let me know in the chat what you think and what you want to see. What characters do you think these playsets should come with? A figure? Who would be your ideal playset character pairing, right? Let me know. I would love to find out what everyone is thinking. But yeah, it's Flash already. He's piping in. It will be a bat cave. It's always a bat cave. You know what? I'm okay with that too. We never got that Superpowers bat cave. Let's go through it. Let me stop this one and let me get into like I said, I always got this page up and rolling. Our friend Toy Otter, right? The Way 4 Superpowers collection. This little page here, I've been staring at it for 20 years. Once I figured out I could use the internet, this is this and Ghostbusters was probably the first things I was looking up. Let's see. What do we got here? Boom, 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 boom. Right? Batman line. Right? If that turns out to be a real thing, give it to me. Look how cool that is. I love it. I am all for it. Genovo, you see a Hall of Justice at the end of the tunnel? I do. Or if they don't do a Hall of Justice, because the first, like, if you've noticed, all the toys that have come out for Superpowers so far have all been new stuff. There's been no re-releases. So if we don't get a Hall of Justice, I could see the Justice League Tower, right? The one that goes on the moon. I could absolutely see that, right? Darkseid's throne room, absolutely. Because, you know, they've already given us a new one, a new Darkseid, the new 52 version. So I'm like, bring it on. I'm all for it. Gotham Stalker Todd put a $250 Batwing in his store. No crowdfunding. A large playset would be just another gold label on the site. Now, that would all depend, because this is all part of Gotham Stalker. This is all part of the DC Direct line and not necessarily the Todd McFarlane Multiverse line, which does all of those, the gold label stuff. So I guess that would all depend on how that works, like the DC Direct stuff versus the McFarlane stuff. I really don't know. Todd, I know you're watching. you are more than welcome to come on the show and explain to me exactly how this works. The superpowers versus multiverse. Who's in charge of what? If you want to bring me on, if you want to hire me exclusively to work on that brand, and I will be your Ryan Ting and Dan Young any day, Todd. Just let me know. I can chill so hard. You have no idea. I love this stuff. Derek Hoover, Oa, Batcave, Gotham Rooftop, Titans Tower, Apocalypse Battleground. Yeah, you name it, right? There's so much there. There is so much there you can choose from. I think that's the one thing about DC more than Marvel. I think Marvel, you get like what? You've got Avengers Mansion, Avengers Tower, the X Mansion. You could do Krakoa now if you needed to, if you wanted to go modern. But like, do we really want? Well, okay, I do. I want Peter Parker's ghetto ass apartment playset. I definitely want that, right? Right? Yes, right. IC Computer Lab. I'm on this page all the time. I can't believe, 2000, right? Like, I've been on this site for 20 years just staring at it. Alex and Troy, I could see a watchtower or the satellite in the style of Batman 66 playsets. Oh, like the diorama style playsets. I just can't. Just seeing how the vehicles are with this toy line, I can't imagine this toy line not going. Oh, Lexi just showed up super clear in 4K at the bottom of my screen.
So we're on my cell phone.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I gave up on using my desktop. I guess
oh
that
my
works.
gosh. But Lexi, we're going over. I just got everyone talking about superpowers just to kind of hold up the conversation.
Awesome, fabulous, perfect.
I got to show you something. Okay, everyone, I'm going to quickly go through. I see a lot of like watchtowers, right? Fortress of Solitude would be amazing. I agree with you with that one. Matt Bush, 100%. Jason Smith, the Green Lantern, Core Wave. Please. Yes, give us that. Now I want Krakoa. Dude, we should all want Krakoa. Or at least Marvel Legends should come out with just like a gate. Give us a gate, more flowers. Right? But I'm all for that. Lexi, I want you to check something out.
Oh boy.
No, it's cool. But I want to get your first because you don't collect toys like I do. You collect different.
Yeah.
But I promote these superpowers hard.
Yes.
I talk about them all the time. So they just announced this bad boy.
Ooh.
So this is the new Batmobile that they're coming out with, and that old Kenner style blue with a Tim Drake. Now these figures are not included because why would they be? That's not how capitalism works.
And especially when it's Tim Drake. Tim Drake. They never just include Tim Drake in things.
Tim Drake is never included anymore, and we're about to get into that shortly. This Tim Drake figure, and we get a new Batman figure. These figures alone go for like just under $10 at $9.99. The vehicles are going for about $30. This one might go a little more. It looks a little bigger. It's a 2-seater, like all Batmobiles should be.
I like Jason Smith asking, "Are we sure it isn't Damien?" Because
it's not. It was well, you know what? We'll find out Friday.
To be fair, the one time it did go reverse was in Gotham Knights. Tim Drake is in a very Damian Wayne style Robin suit.
That's true.
The fact that Tim Drake is included doesn't bother me, but they did cop Damian's style a little bit for his design.
And it's funny because then when they brought in Damian for Injustice, they stole a little bit from Tim to put it onto him so that people like me wouldn't get mad of being like, so you got Nightwing, you got Damian, you got no Tim? You put Red Hood in the game? But still,
it was also a pretty solid throwback, though, to like how Damian's Nightwing design was in the original Injustice run. Mm-hmm. So the little red Nightwing vibe going on.
Oh man, yes, and we're gonna talk about Nightwing as well because this all has to get brought up. Let's get it right into the topic because I think I've delayed enough.
I so appreciate you for it. For the record, you guys, I was home at like 7:10 trying to log on. This is truly like I just gave up and said, will my phone do it? And I guess it will.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Thank you, phone. But this is great. We're going to talk about Robin. So what's happened with Robin, or Tim Drake Robin, and very, very in particular.
Yes.
And I want to get the chat's input on this too. And Lexi and I will discuss this, and we'll come back to hear your thoughts, because I really want to hear everyone's thoughts. Where does Tim go from here? What should we do with Tim Drake? He's now had his title canceled. He is now no longer. Oh, hey, Thunderhausen.
Sorry, if you see me clicking things, this is my first time doing this on mobile, so I was trying to see if I could flip my camera, but it's fine. We'll just sit with it as it is. I'm like, ooh.
Well, it worked out well. And so the Tim Drake Robin, his solo series canceled. Right?
Did not have a long run. That was like a year?
A year, less.
If that, yeah.
Yeah, like 10 months it had for a run. Then now he comes back as Batman's main sidekick. That storyline is done. We're going back to Damian. So it's kind of felt like a nostalgia run. Like when a wrestler comes back and does a quick run, puts over the young guys, and leaves. That's kind of what this felt like to me. It was kind of like Chip Zdarsky, I think, and I are probably very similar in age, so he's probably like, I want to use Tim Drake for a bit.
Yeah.
But of course, as editorial works, it's kind of like, you got to go back to like...
Yeah. I think my opinion on it is honestly a little bit meaner.
Go for it. Let it out.
And again, you guys know, I don't hate Tim Drake. I do like Tim Drake. I am sick of him as Robin, to be blunt.
Right.
I just want more for him at this point. But I think this was much more of we have this Damian solo run. We have all these things planned for Damian. Batman needs a Robin. I guess we throw Tim back in, like give him his Robin solo. I really think that they were planning on committing to Robin Tim again. I think they were planning on it for the long run. I mean, Bruce and Tim just had this huge like story arc where like Tim is the one who like jumps out to like save Bruce's life when everyone else is like, he's gone, he'll find his own way back, which also happened with the time stream when Dick was Batman like the last time. Like it's always Tim who's, everyone else is like, Batman will figure it out, and Tim's the one going, someone's gotta help Bruce. So they're having their whole thing, and they were trying so hard to have Damian do his own thing. They really like have committed to breaking up Bruce and Damian any chance they get. Oh, Thunderhouse Design. We do talk about the comics.
We do talk about the comics, but I also haven't read Batman 900, but I found out on Twitter just like before 900 even dropped that like they announced this already before. This was like, I don't know if it was meant to be a spoiler, but what the news was announced that Tim Drake would not be coming back after 900.
Yeah, that information about Tim Drake leaving was more of just an announcement they made and less of a story spoiler. Yeah, Damian coming back isn't actually going to happen until September. They just have confirmed that it is coming. But yeah, so sorry, if I'm here, there's probably going to be a lot of comic book recent conversations. But yeah, I really think that they wanted Tim Drake to be Robin. I really think they wanted to see Damian going off and doing his own thing. And I think that the flop of Tim's solo book was one of their big decisions to pull him and go back to Damian. I really do.
I think so too.
I think it's like the first time they introduced Damian. Damian comes in when Tim gets boring to people. When people don't like Tim, DC introduces Damian. That is what seems to be the trend.
Well, it's okay. So I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, like I remember like when they introduced Damian, and I was like, get this fucking kid out of.
Okay, just to clarify, do you in his introduction, like the special where like you met him for the first time as a character, or his introduction is in the beginning of Grant Morrison's run?
Grant Morrison's run, like as
okay.
Like already, like he wasn't Robin yet, but I could already I could see the writing on the wall, and like I was not ready. Like it's just one of these things where it's like I was not ready to give up my Robin for this new one coming in. Like it was like a big nope. And I remember reading it on transit, hiding there, reading my Batman in the corner and just being like seething, knowing like just who is this little shit? He looks
Don't
like
do it, Dick. Don't do it.
He looks like a younger Robin. And I was like already like I was mad. And so my resentment just came out of like I guess it would be like an older sibling getting the baby brother they didn't want. And that's where that like, and me growing up being the youngest child in my family.
Oh yeah.
It was like, that was my first taste of like,
you're like,
no.
Hold on.
Yes, that's right. I'm Tim. I relate to Tim. Get this guy out of here.
We don't need another cutie. I'm right here.
Yeah, that's right. So I was, so I think a little bit of that came into play. I gotta talk to my therapist about this one, I think. But yeah, it was just like, it was one of those like, it was one of those moments for me where I was not ready to give that. I was not ready for Tim to give up because I knew the route it was going to go. And it's exactly what happened. And I always found that, especially since, like, when Tim kind of started going solo, I think someone mentioned in the chat. But,
we have had so many, like, Tim really should go back to being Red Robin. I don't see why they don't go back to him rocking Red Robin. There were a few other, like, all Red Robin comments. Yes.
So... And don't worry, Thunderhausen, we're going to get into Tom King's pitch in a moment as well. Because that just made me livid. I was thinking that exact same thing. Like, when he kind of left and became like Red Robin, he got that new costume. And not the new 52 one. We're talking like, before he even like started wearing the Kingdom Come costume. It was the Red Robin where it was like the Red Robin suit, the full red. Yeah. And I dug that. And I never gave up on that book. I have every single floppy issue of Robin, of that first run. Like that's how loyal I am to that boy.
I agree he needs a better name than Red Robin though, even if you want him to like go off and do his own thing.
Right. And I know they tried that. Like, remember when like I think I brought
this up. He was Drake for a while, which was also
Drake,
hilarious.
That awful, like don't
just
use
literally his last name.
Yeah, don't use your last name. And 2, don't wear brown. What are you thinking? Don't wear. I understand you're trying to be like a duck, but don't wear brown. Okay, like if everyone needs to be named after a damn bird, like just I don't know. I would kind of like him to do something almost like the Grayson book. Remember when Tom King wrote Grayson and he was like the secret agent?
Yeah.
Do something like that with Tim if you need to. Make him an Oracle if you need to.
I actually love the idea of Tim in an Oracle style role. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah. Like I think there's ways to keep him because I don't want him to I always say Donna Troy. Right?
Yeah.
She's always the prime example. Because they never knew what to do with her, and I always feel like Tim falls into that same rut.
Well, it's hard because you have Dick Grayson, who has already fulfilled the trope of I'm going to break away from my mentor and be my own person, and then you have Jason Todd, who's I'm angry at my mentor, and I'm going to come back and punch him and his kids in the face whenever I can, and and now you've got Damian Wayne, like I am the blood son, and it really leaves Tim in this position of, well, where do I fall? And what is so unfortunate about the Robin run being canceled to me, Tim Drake's solo Robin run, is I thought that was the moment we were going to get that answer, what now for Tim Drake, which again, editorially, I just feel like, I know I've mentioned this on the stream before, but I feel like certain mistakes were made where in the Batman run with Tim as Robin, it's like this Tim Drake that's super loyal. It's like the Tim Drake we know, who's like clinging to Batman, like who knows him better than anyone, who's like doing, that thing. And then in the Tim Drake solo run, you have a Tim who ditched home to be Robin by himself and also live in a boathouse, and not talk to Bruce at all. And isn't on speaking terms with Bruce. And in theory, these are like both happening in a canon timeline.
Right.
Neither of them are in Elseworld. So that was just kind of confusing to begin with. And then the Tim Drake solo run just didn't grab people, I think, the way they wanted it to. It felt more like a very unique indie, like, I don't know, it just didn't have the feel of like a mainstream DC new hero reset that I think we really wanted for Tim, that Tim frankly needs for how he is one of the less popular Robins.
Right. Oh, why are you?
I know. I'm saying this because we need to acknowledge it.
Right.
Because he deserves better. That's why he's not the character you can take risks like that with, because he doesn't have as big of the fan base.
That's true. And I think how Dick Grayson, how they were able to reinvent him from going from Robin to Nightwing
to Rick to Agent Grayson to...
Well, we're ignoring Rick. Rick does not exist. I'm accepting of everyone's... I will say, you like Snyderverse? That's fine. Not my thing. No Rick talk. That's where I close the gate. Get off this bandwagon. No Rick. Right? But it's like, but they've always been able to, like, I don't know, some reason Nightwing just seemed to have stuck.
It's the booty.
Right? And even Red Hood has seemed to have stuck.
Yeah.
For Jason. And then
because they're these cool, unique characters. Like, there's something about them each that is so distinctly different from Batman. So distinctly different from each other, you know?
Yep. Nope. I absolutely agree with that. And I think Tim needs that.
Yeah.
Like, in a big way. Because I know he was done dirty in New 52.
Who wasn't?
Wonder Woman wasn't.
Oh,
Wonder Woman
girl.
Was not done dirty.
Yeah, she had a pretty cool New 52 run, actually. Except for the part where it's like, there was her and Superman and...
Oh, we're not talking about... No. We're talking about the Wonder Woman run. Not the Superman, Wonder Woman romance comic book. That's funny. Like, remember you were talking about, like, you were just saying how it was like you had one storyline going one way and one storyline going another way, but they're supposed to be like canonical and run. Wonder Woman and then Justice League and then Superman, Wonder Woman. Like, it was like Justice League, Superman, Wonder Woman was doing one thing.
Yeah. And
Wonder Woman was on a way better thing.
Oh,
doing
infinitely.
Way cooler things. And then somehow always managed to just be drawn eating ice cream when she's just chilling. Yeah. And that comic to me is still like, I will recommend that book 100 times. Like, that whole entire run of New 52 Wonder Woman is probably one of my most favorite Wonder Woman runs of all time. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
But hang on. I digress.
No, stop.
Yes, I need to digress because I'm going on about Wonder Woman, and I could do that as well for like ever as well, and I love that character too. But yeah, just to take it back to the Robins, to the boys, you know. You know, like, yeah, they just need to do something with Tim where he's just something completely brand new.
Yeah, and my fear is that this kind of was their attempt to do something brand new with the Tim Drake solo run, but a lot of what it felt like was that the identity they were giving him was, and he's the gay Robin, which, again, as a queer person, like, I don't want the gay Robin. I want the Robin who has a full-fledged personality, who happens to be, you know, queer and has a boyfriend, and it's not treated any differently than anything else. And again, I think in the Batman continuity, it was actually treated really well. Like, his sexuality was acknowledged, like Bernard was acknowledged in a way that didn't, you know, dominate the story, because that's not what the Batman run is about. Whereas Tim Drake's Robin became about the fact that, did you know he's the gay one? And I did not love that.
Yeah, like, that was my other big fear too, is that he was just going to get regulated to just guest appearances or just a quick one-off story in DC Pride once a year.
Yeah, which is what we can almost see. I firmly believe if it weren't for Tom Taylor clinging to John Kent so hard, we'd be seeing the exact same thing with John. We're already kind of seeing it, but it's going slower because Tom Taylor, like, you know, he's advocating for that character as hard as he can. He's so proud of what he did with John Kent.
Yeah, that's a whole... Next week, if there is no big news next week, we are going to get in... I want to get into John Kent, and we got to get into the twins.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like, because I've been trying to catch up the best I can while on the schedule that I'm at for work. With Superman. Because oh man, it's what's good, what's hitting hard is hitting strong.
Oh yeah, and just for full disclosure, so you guys know, drunk Lexi last night did blow up Ryan's phone about my feelings about John Kent's current Injustice adventures. But we will bring it to you guys sober and filtered.
That's right. It was real. It was very unexpected last night. It was just like, oh.
To be fair, Ryan messaged me first, but he asked like a simple question, and what he got was, whoosh.
I got unloaded on, and it was. I was like, well, I'm gonna just write all these down. These are all gold.
Don't ask me about comics when I've been drinking.
Well,
you know what's gonna happen.
I didn't know you were drinking. Right?
Surprise. It's my birthday week. It's okay. Assume I'm drinking this entire week.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the other thing I want to talk about with Tim Drake as well, was he was almost Nightwing.
I know! I'm still so mad about that.
Like, we all know it wasn't, something like that would never last. But the fact that he would be standing up for his brother. Yeah, it wasn't written to last. But it was like, Tom King even said that. So, So, Tom King was talking about how his pitch for when he was doing Batman, by the way, probably one of my favorite runs in a comic book ever. It hit me in such a crazy, insane time, and it's
the Rick Grayson arc.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. And Tim played actually a pretty fair-sized role in that run.
Mm-hmm.
For whenever he appeared, he was there when it was important. And spoiler alert, this came out 4 years ago now. I think we should all have caught up by now, folks. There's a part where all of a sudden, this is Catwoman left Bruce at the aisle, on the rooftop aisle. They were gonna get married.
Still hurts. Boom. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it hurts.
and then Bruce is kind of not taking it well. He's actually being very toxic about it. And
as we do.
To the point, as someone like him would. To me, it totally felt in character, where people were complaining, where it was well, that's not really good behavior. That's not how you deal with things. I'm like, he's Batman because his parents died. Listen, he does not deal with things well. And then Tim and the other sidekicks, like Signal and Batwoman, and everyone was kind of there, and they went, hey, Bruce, you're not doing good. I think we need to all have a talk. And Batman, poof, knocks him out. Punch to the face to Tim. And that's how the comic ended. That issue ended. And I'm reading this, and I'm at work, and people are looking at me going, Ryan, are you crying? Is everything okay? I'm like, I am crying, and things are not okay. This was multiple times that book actually put me in tears. And that was one of those moments, because then one of my other coworkers, who's an animator at Sony, who's also we would, every Wednesday when Batman came out, it was we have to go. Whoop! We have to go and run to the comic store across the street, grab that issue of Batman, run back to work, read it, go to the kitchen and discuss. And it was a thing. And there was multiple times where that book, we would look in the kitchen, look at each other, and just be like, what happened? How Tom King is a genius. Right? It was and there people would complain certain issues were filler issues, and I was like, there is no filler issues with Tom King.
Yeah, he works to bring it all full circle.
He makes it all work, and it's, oh man, see, I'm just going on about this run, but when he did Tim, there was a part where KG Beast assassinates Nightwing. Bullet right through the head, which also was I got sad, then I got mad, because it was all I could think was Dan DiDio going, they should kill Nightwing. That's all I could think, right? I was like, he did it. Oh my god. And of course, then because of course it's a cliffhanger, and I'm trying to nobody dies in comics. Nobody dies in comics. It's okay. It's okay. Right? And so then he's in the hospital, and I was like, oh, I wonder where they're going to go with this, because he's clearly survived. Then they had him come back right away.
It's almost exactly like when Tim gets shot in the neck. And, it's this big dramatic thing, and you're like this dude just took, a sniper bullet to his throat, but don't worry, he's going to be fine.
I almost used that as a thumbnail, that panel.
Damn. Bruce changing him out of his costume before getting him to the hospital. Oh, sorry, keep going.
Right, so we've got Nightwing in the hospital, and what ended up happening was, for those who don't know, he came back, they rushed him back, more or less. And because they didn't want to cancel his title, or for whatever reason, they didn't want Dick Grayson out of his own title. And they brought him back, and they had him lose his memory. He didn't know who he was. Every now and then something would happen, and his reflexes of being Nightwing and a gymnast would kick back in magically. And he became a taxi driver who looked a lot like me right now, and called himself Rick, where all the family would come to him and be like
the first 3 letters of Richard, just RIC. That was it.
Right. And and you'd have Babs come to talk to him, Tim come to talk to him, all this stuff. He'd be like, no, I don't know who you are, go away. And I was like, I cannot get into this. And I tried. I swear I have the first 5 issues of that storyline going in. And that was the first time I've ever stopped buying Nightwing. Again,
how many issues can you read of Rick Grayson driving his taxi and yelling at his family?
Yeah, you can't. I'm done. And I used to get so mad. I'm just like, why didn't they just leave him in a coma? I said, I'd rather just have plus that storyline with him getting shot anyways and Bruce having to deal with that would have had a lot more impact. And I was like, I would go on about, I swear, I must have went on for I didn't let it go for a year, even after he stopped being Rick. It was just one of these things where I was like, why is this happening? Why are they doing this? Why is this going on so long? This might be the worst thing to ever happen in comics, and I have lived through a Clone Saga, right? That's what it felt like. It felt like the worst possible thing to ever happen in comics.
Yeah.
And so when Tom King recently, 2 weeks ago?
I think it was less than that. I think it was just a few days ago.
It was definitely, hang on. And I think
it was after our last stream, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. I believe you are correct. Hang on. I did send it to you. I'm going to have to go through all these drunk texts.
Absolutely did. Yeah, hold on. Scroll
through these drunk. So Tom King wrote, my pitch was Dick would be recovering, learning to be himself again. While Tim took over the mantle of Nightwing, it would have been a story of 2 brothers bonding, caring for each other in the shadow of the bat. Dick would be back in 6 to 12 issues, not that long, and they went another way, which is his way of being and they fucked it up.
Yeah. And let me just say, one of the reasons I am so obsessed with that storyline, because I really feel of all the 4 boy Robins specifically, I feel like Tim and Dick have the most sincere brotherly relationship of all of them.
Yes.
I mean, Dick and Jason have this weird thing where while Jason was Robin, Dick was ignoring Bruce and then Jason was dead. And obviously they think of each other as brothers today, but it wasn't the same as by the time Tim was Robin, Dick was trying to be involved, trying to be there for him, actually actively acting as a big brother to this kid. Then by the time Damian comes around, Dick is more his dad than his brother. Jason and Damian, Tim and Damian don't have super brotherly relationships. Jason and Tim, I mean, again, yes, they all consider each other brothers, but let's look at the reality of what their relationships are like,
Right.
Jason,
there's always that resentment there's always that
murder attempt,
Jason has towards Dick. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then and then Bab.
All these things. And so I really feel like Tim and Dick have the most actual sincere, brotherly bond among all the Bat Boys. So seeing a writer looking at that and really wanting to explore and acknowledge that more makes me super happy and then super sad when I remember it didn't happen.
Yes. Right. And just what could have been is specifically just in that run. and like how cool it would have been to read Nightwing for like 6 months to a year, right? Because that's 12 issues of Tim having like just doing Nightwing shit. Like, yeah.
And what's cool, someone else made a comment that I really want to actually go back to. That here we go. It could have been Thunderhouse Design. It could have been Tim's prodigal story, like when Dick first took over for Batman. Imagine if Dick's time as Nightwing helped him figure out who he is outside of Robin and helped launch himself into his new hero identity.
Absolutely.
Like that is such a perfect transition.
It is. But we got a nostalgia run instead. But it was just like, it's so frustrating. And it's really, it would have been so perfect during that run too. Like, so and it's so funny when that like showed up on my like Twitter feed, it was just like, it was devastating. It was,
and then we would have seen more of, Dick in that actual big brother role that I think DC, depending on who's writing him, of course, he kind of ends up in this line where like they want him to be like the good, kind, nice big brother, but also he's kind of a disaster in his own right. So he really fluctuates back and forth between like being the good big brother to the rest of the Bat family or being enough of a disaster that he just lets his siblings down and kind of like fucks up because he's dealing with his own stuff. And so I think that would have been a good time to like really see Dick have to take a step back because he's recovering and like really have to step into more of like a consistent mentor role for the family.
Yeah. And it just would have been nice to see like, because it would have been like Tim helping him with the rehab.
Yeah.
Getting him back in there too. And just like, because that's what Tim helps.
Yeah. And being able to like actually like have Dick be there mentally for the physical recovery. Like I can make myself cry. Like this didn't even happen. And I'm just imagining like having a Dick and like, having Dick Grayson and, who's awake for this and actually getting to watch and read his internal as he talks about like feeling like maybe like a bird with his wings clipped, wanting to fly again. Because unlike everyone else where they just kind of like the physical side is part of being a hero, like he had it before Robin. Like that's his connection to his parents. That's ingrained in his soul. Like that's who he, like the physical side of it is so tied into who he is as a person. As I think that would have been a really cool mental connection.
Right. 100%. Plus seeing like Nightwing detective stories. Would have been that
would have been so cool.
Would have been so
all the villains fun. Like, yo, why Nightwing smart all of a sudden? No, okay.
You're not wrong though. You're not wrong. He's
smart. You just can't tell because he's dropping so many silly puns.
I want to acknowledge some of the chat here because we are at an hour.
Yes.
Right. But I just want to go through the chat and just see what they were. Yes, I know. Going back up to the New 52 stuff, and I'm getting a lot of oh boys. Shiny plastic people who was very mad at my thumbnail, by the way. Tim was my Robin not only because he was in the role in my childhood, but because he was the nerd. Sure, that wasn't the most physical, but he was a smart tryhard, and I think that's why
he connected to all of the people who are Tim Drake fans.
Correct, right? He's that outsider that got to go and hang out with the cool kids, right? You got to see the cool kids, right? It's
absolutely.
Sorry, this is actually kind of funny. Would love to hear the non-sober version.
Drinking with Lexi stream. I don't know if that's against the rules of service or YouTube.
Maybe this summer we'll do we'll record at a patio and we'll do drunken comic history.
Oh please, let me loose.
You got a happy birthday.
Thanks for the birthday wishes, guys. My birthday is tomorrow. I am a Star Wars baby, so
that's it.
I do love that for me. May the 4th.
Yeah. This is the May.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's how we're doing it. The Black Phoenix 77, the Batman Catwoman marriage issue was a train wreck. I'm with you, but I also saw it coming a mile away.
Oh yeah.
Like I
will say
Yeah.
And we all know that I have my Damian Wayne bias, but there was a really beautiful moment leading up to the wedding that Selena actually had with Damian that made me even more heartbroken over the marriage not working out. Because remember, at that point, Damian was still only like 11 years old. And like they had this really sweet moment where she like said some really powerful things to him. And I feel like they never really acknowledged that like not only did Bruce lose Selena, but Damian, who was so young, kind of lost a mother for the second time.
Right.
And I feel like they never really like addressed that trauma.
They didn't.
So it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. He's just a murder baby. He has no feelings.
Right? Right? Retro Cabal, thank you for being here and hanging out with us tonight. Thunderhausen, if King had cut the run story down to like 50 issues instead of 80, it would have been an all-time amazing run. I really love it all, but it was a little blotted. I disagree. And it was supposed to be a 100-issue run, and it got taken away from him early, but he did get to finish it in the Batman Catwoman what is it called? A maxi series, when it's like 12 issues. Mini series is like 6 issues. Maxi series is 12. But he did get to finish his story. So I'm really, even though it's not in the Batman or in Batman, he still got to do like his series and finish it out. So I don't know. I could have used at least 50 more issues of Tom King's Batman, but I'm biased and weird. Also, read Tom King's Superman Up, Up, and Away. Probably one of the best Superman books you'll ever read in your life. It's amazing. Shiny Plastic People, never forget that Tim started wearing the Red Robin cowl because he burned the hell out of it. I
did forget that, actually.
I did too. I totally did. Underhausen, Rick was actually a dick. Yes, he was.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Alison Troy, I just need Superboy Prime to punch the wall to make it all go away. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Which series was that? I'm trying to think of what the event that was where Superboy came back and then Superboy Prime came back and the other, like the original Superman and Lois Lane from the Daily Star. Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh, Allison, I could not tell you.
Allison will tell me. She seems yeah, I still don't think you've let it go. I have not let it go. You are correct. And yeah, not the Clone Saga. Yeah, well, you know what? When you're old enough, you know, but it did have this Thunderhausen, it did have Clone Saga vibes. I agree. I think it's just because it went on so damn long. John Yerkaba, thank you for being here. Alison Troy, Jason tried to kill them too many times to be trusted. Yeah, well, that's happened too. I hate Jason villain storylines. Like,
oh, you said you hate Jason villain storylines?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're a little overtired at this point.
Like, where they try to have him fight against the other boys, and I'm just like,
you can only redeem a character so many times. It was pretty recently. He beat the crap out of Tim again too.
Yeah.
He tried to throw Tim under a literal train.
Right?
That was the whole thing.
Yeah, right. It doesn't need to happen. Shiny Plastic People, Jason is a bit jealous of Tim as his relationship to the others. Damian saw Tim as a roadblock to being at his father's side.
Yeah, and they definitely moved past that since then. But it's to the point where it's like, if it weren't for the fact they both had some sort of relation to Bruce, they would be like civil co-workers. You know, you still wouldn't be like, oh, look at those brothers. Yeah. Brotherly brother boys. Such brothers.
Toy Art can't talk right now to do Nightwing shit.
I want that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, right? I'm doing dick shit. Black Phoenix 77, that would be much better storyline than the Rick Grayson nonsense. Agreed. Yeah, I know what you're trying to say there, Kayla. Yeah. Derek Hoover. People, those dynamics always made me feel like Dick and Tim were one pairing of brothers. And like Lexi said, Jason and Damian could have been a more darker version.
Oh my gosh. So I do have something to say. I read something, and I cannot take credit for this line because it was so good. It was someone on Twitter said it somewhere, and I will never, ever know who. Or it was like on Tumblr. I don't know. It was on the internet. But it was a conversation happening about Jason and Damian, and some people kind of discussing like that brother relationship that could have been. I think you all know I love the idea of kind of exploring that. What if they did have like almost like a bodyguard or trainer-trainee relationship back in the League of Assassins? Or people talking about why they don't interact more when they have so like a lot of similar trauma. And someone said the problem with Jason and Damian is that they have all the wrong things in common. And I have never forgotten that. And it really is. It's like, well, if you have an anger issue, I'm not going to pair you up with someone with an anger issue, right? Like it's that idea of like, where like Dick and Tim have more of a balancing effect for each other. Jason and Damian would be fuel on the fire, like as brothers. Like there's like, instead of a real bonding, it's just kind of like, you remind me of everything I hate about myself, actually.
Yeah, and there would be a lot of escalation. That's
really interesting. Yeah, so I always thought that was a really interesting thing. And then, of course, like the one time, you know, Jason was trying to get a hold of Damian, and Damian like hugged him and got him in his feels and then electrocuted him. So,
God damn it!
I love that whole issue.
Randall, yes, Peter David and Young Justice needs to continue. Put Tim in there, not to be an ass. How many readers were possibly turned off by Tim coming out by when he was like in a full-on relationship with Spoiler? I mean, you're.
No, I'm gonna say that.
I think as like, there you go. Yeah. I'll let you go first. First.
I was gonna say I feel like that there is a lot of misinformation going around about how recently Tim and Steph were actually in a serious relationship.
Correct.
And it kind of, I'm going to say it, there is something off-putting to people continuously bringing up Tim and Stephanie as a reason, as a positive relationship to bring down Tim's relationship with Bernard, when Tim and Stephanie were in a relationship where he cheated on her and she got pregnant by another man, and, you know, all these things happened. And I do think there is an element of, but they're a cute heterosexual couple. Whereas, you know, Bernard hasn't done Tim wrong, but that's the weird one. So. Right.
And I think, and again, too, like it only came like, and again, too, like when Tim came out by, it kind of came to me like oh, really? And then of course, like all the writing was always on the wall, but me reading as someone who related to him as fully hetero, it was like, it's just over my head.
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. There's nothing heterosexual about his friendship with Superboy.
Correct, right? But you don't see it. I didn't see it until it happened, right? Like it was one of these things where it was like, oh yeah, okay, all right, yeah, because again, like it did not like. You got to remember, at the end of the day, folks, these characters aren't real, so there's nothing to get like mad about when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I also kind of feel like it's time for sometimes these characters need to evolve and be different. And my whole point of view on Tim coming out bi, and even though I'm not bi and I don't relate to that part of him, there's a lot of other stuff that I do relate to Tim with, and that's the stuff that I am still very much attached to. And at the same time, I have also moved on. Well, I'll never 100% move on from Tim. But he was there for me when I needed him as a teenager. And now he gets to be there for someone else who relates to the same thing. He just needs to be written better. That's all. I think that's just at the end of the day. So I always feel like these characters are for everybody, and this is a chance for Tim to be there for someone else.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, especially like, you know, you have people who are queer, people who are women, people who are people of color, you know, who have been reading these comics for decades, having to relate to the bits and pieces in the characters we love without seeing ourselves represented. So if, you know, a character happening to be bi really removes you from the character that much, I do think that is a you problem.
That's a you. Agreed. And you know what? And you're always going to get those people that are just going to be turned off by something that's not exactly them. You know what? And again, just like Lexi said, that's on you. That's not on the book. That's not on the character. That's a look inside yourself problem. 100%. Thunderhausen and Bev seeing Dick go through that. The personal experience they would share in that recovery would be amazing. But this isn't about Babs. But again, I see where you're also coming from on this. I would not, of course, Babs would have to make an appearance, but also so would the Teen Titans or the Titans at this point as well. So I would love for Starfire to become visiting that hospital as well. Just I'm doing that to appease Lexi so she doesn't come after me.
I know someone else later on said something about, I think it was Colossus and Kitty Pryde. I want to make sure I'm saying that right. It was Colossus and Kitty Pryde. It was their wedding that made them not trust comic weddings. For me, it was the Dick Starfire, like the old school one where he leaves her at the altar. That was when I stopped believing in comic weddings.
Same here, right? Also, thank you for being here, Ken. Thank you for coming out, hanging out. Let's all right, see, look at this. Everyone's I'm just gonna throw out all your birthday wishes.
Yo, you're so sweet.
Right? And it was John, you're at to me,
there
the Colossus Kitty Pryde, that one to me was done so dirty. Like, if for any time anyone gets mad about, like, because the Colossus Kitty Pryde thing was a complete reactionary writing to the Catwoman Batman wedding, and she also walked away from him at the altar for some bullshit reason, and it was just like, I hate this. Like, I legitimately hate this. Like, I hated it so much. But then we got Rogue and Gambit got married instead, but that was cool. I didn't mind that. Right? Hey, Odin. Thank you for being here. John, your cave, giving shoutouts to all of Tom King's best stuff here. Strange Adventures, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Mr. Miracle, all of those. Infinite Crisis. That's what I was talking about before, right? Boom. Boom.
A lot of people let me know it's Infinite Crisis. This chat keeps me humble. I'm just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, right? Randall, has anyone ever read Joker's Devil's Advocate? And it was Infinite Crisis. There it is.
Hey, at least we know what we don't know, right?
Well, it's just like, I can picture all the covers in my head.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, I can see the covers. What
you can,
the hell
see
was
the
it?
panels and...
Yep. I was like, what is happening? This happens every time. The moment I turn off the screen, it's like, I know everything about comic books. I press live. There it goes.
It's gone.
It is gone. I have not actually read Devil's Advocate, but for some reason when I hear Joker Devil's Advocate, I'm just like completely turned off. Makes me think of every freaking incel dude with a Twitter account. Shiny Plastic People. Bastards killed Con-El during Infinite Crisis. Yeah, he got better. I know.
They get better. It's comic death, y'all. They get better.
Here's the funny thing. They actually killed him in Vancouver, British Columbia. Oh, that one stung. That one stung like a bee. That was also a Dan DiDio decision. Toy Connections. Tim never wins a fight, loses to Damian, loses to Jason. Yeah, well, you're half right.
Although I will give Tim kudos for what I think is one of the best Tim moments is when Jason is, this is an older one, but Jason's just beating the crap out of him. Tim's on the ground. He's bleeding. He's got nothing going for him. And Jason's, he's sobbing under his hood. And he's just like, you think you're better than me, blah, 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 blah. And Tim's, I forget the exact words. And Tim's like laying there, just like bleeding out of every orifice on his face. And he's just like, yeah, I am better than you.
Yeah.
If that's not Tim Drake, I don't know what is.
I love that. Shiny Plastic People. Took me a couple days to accept him as being bi, but that was me being dumb. But if you help someone else see something in themselves in the character, that's awesome. And that's what we want in our comics. That's to me. That's why I am a firm believer. There's a comic book for everybody, even if it's not superhero related. I believe there's enough out there and enough diversity, and just not in just superheroes, but just storytelling altogether. I believe there's something out there for everybody to make us happy. Allison Troy, Steph and Robin hadn't been a couple since before she got refrigerated the time when she was Robin.
Thank you, Allison.
Right?
Yep.
Allison's always here.
All what I'm saying. It's been a while. They're not even that great together. But hey, they're straight and they're cute. So
I'm going to let you read this one.
Allison, I love you. Let's stop hooking Babs and Dick up. Dick and Corey forever. Babs and Ted Cord. Ooh, I hadn't thought about that one actually too much.
Ted Cord? Isn't like Ted Cord like my age and Babs like
Okay, do you know how often DC changes the age of their female characters just to like pair them with different people? Like Babs alone was supposed to be way older than Dick originally, and everyone is a Dick and Babs stan today, so.
Right.
I don't remember what that was for, but thank you, John.
To be fair, when he left her at the altar, it was for about 10 seconds.
But it didn't have to be. It didn't have to be. They're so good together. It's fine. I'm fine. I'm okay. You know what? Eventually, one day, there will be another canon where they're together again. It's comics. It's waves.
Okay, so this is my favorite shipping that's ever happened in comic books, by the way, if we're going to talk about any of Tim's hookups. Sorry, Bernard, but you will always be second place to Jubilee from the X-Men during Marvel versus the DC run. So I want to just also make that very clear. Plus, when they did the Amalgam universe, they combined to create Sparrow. So I just want to also give a big props to Gotham Stalker. If I am going to straight ship anybody, it is going to be Tim and Jubilee. Tim and Jubes forever. That's just how I roll. And come at me if you don't like it. Okay. Randall, Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan, Prestige format book. That was the Joker is actually charged for murdering people with poison stamps. I don't know. I shouldn't laugh. That's not supposed to be funny. Right? That's why I guess he's the Joker, because that is kind of funny. And Batman wants answers while everyone wants him dead. I'm sorry. I just kind of... poison stamps. I can't think of anything more comic book than Joker creating poison stamps that people like. And how dated is that?
What is more comic book and Batman and a little bit dumb than the world going, hey, we're gonna actually charge this guy for murder, and Batman being like, no, I want answers. Like, shut up, Bruce. Let this one go. Like, they're doing it through the law. Like, we have a death penalty in Gotham, I assume. Like, let that one go.
Why would you poison the stamps? Like, and on top of that, like, at what point was this written where people were still using stamps? Sorry. That they had to lick, no less. That they had to lick.
Okay, I feel like now we have to read this, right?
I have to read this. Oh my God. In 2 weeks, I am finding that book, and we are doing a full-on breakdown. I need to know this, right? Amalgam, absolutely. I fucking love it. Almost couldn't speak there. Shiny Plastic People, Ted Cord and Babs dated online.
I forgot about that.
God, where's it? See, thank you, people.
Yeah.
Right? Birds of Prey,
I was like, I knew it was a thing for a reason. Ooh, yes. Tim and Steph were together before he became Drake when they were hopping universes. And again, like, these are such throwbacks, you guys. Like, this is not recent stuff.
Right? Like, this is... I love this. And I'm trying to even remember, too, like, it's been... I never think I read a lot of Birds of Prey. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm like, how come I don't remember this?
I love, like, anything Oracle Babs. And even, like, when she goes back to Batgirl, but it's written by Gail Simone. Like, that's my Babs.
Yeah.
Gail Simone made me care about Barbara Gordon when I really did not before.
Also, give me more Black Canary any day.
Oh, yes.
Please. Ted Cord tried to end that story to pitch Tim and the idea of becoming the next Blue Beetle.
Ooh.
That would... Oh, man, I could actually see
interesting.
That.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, hold on. I can see that, though. So... for this one, wasn't there... Oh, no, you're fine. Wasn't there a Cassie and Tim coupling for like 5 minutes during like the mid-2000s when he was single for a hot minute? So I can speak to this. And again, this is kind of throwing it back to, y'all, he was gay the whole time. What happened there was Khan and Cassie were an item, and then Khan died. And then Tim and Cassie are like sobbing and kissing each other and like try to date each other because they both miss Connor. So literally Tim said, like, dating you was like filling this hole of that I was missing of Connor. Sorry. And she was like, no, same. So again, like looking back, I'm like, that was a straight man? Y'all? He dated Cassie to fill the hole that Connor left. Okay.
All right. See, like I said, all this stuff just like there's a spotlight on it when it happens, right?
Yeah, let's address that.
Sometimes I just need things spelled out. All right, like just forgive me. Right, Tim got to date with Jubilee and DC All Access, dude. We just need more of it. If there's one thing I want to do eventually, I want to do cross publication hookups. I want to do an episode on that where we start shipping characters from Marvel and DC. I also want to do my own booking, fantasy booking for Marvel versus DC 2. I know they'll never do it because now one is like fully owned by Warner Brothers. The other one's now owned by Disney at this point, so it's not.
Yeah, it's a lot of red tape to cross for that now.
It is a lot, and I would love nothing more than to see because now we've got so many new characters, right? So here's an example of what I would pitch. Here's one fight. Give me Damian versus X-23.
Damian Wayne,
Robin versus X-23.
Versus like young X-23?
Same age. Just make him whatever.
Make them like both 15 and they just duke it out.
Two murder kids.
Two little murder children.
Two little murder kids just going for it, right? Like it's just
I love it. Wait, I want to see that now.
Give me that. Right? Like, and now too, like give me because now some characters have elevated. Like, some characters in Marvel have received a promotion. Let's put it that way, since the 90s. So like now we can have Captain Marvel versus Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now
I think people forget that Iron Man used to be really lame in the comics, actually.
He used to be a C-list superhero. Like, hands down. Like nobody or maybe B. If I'm being generous, he'd be B-list.
Yeah.
Right? No one really thought of him as this is a guy that can have his own movie franchise. But you could now we look at it and go, okay, Batman versus Tony Stark. Bang, let's do it.
Yeah.
Right? Like you could have all of this stuff. I'm like, give it to me. Right? Here. Oh my fucking God, Ryan. Yeah, I can. You have to read all of Birds of Prey. Best Dixon work. Simone writing, Canary Babs, Huntress was fire. Yes, see, I tried to read it how you must have been screaming at the...
Allison, get out of my head. Stop.
Right? John Yerkeba, I had to draw Amalgam Wolverine Batman mashup at the con this weekend. It scared me. Oh, dude, we should talk. We gotta talk more crossover stuff.
Allison knows.
Yeah. Right? Is an excellent argument for... Yeah, okay, I get it. I get it. It's right in front of me. I don't see it. Right? This is why I usually end up dating lesbians, because I don't understand what's happening. Like, why is she so cool?
What you're saying is we need to fix your gaydar, buddy.
Yeah.
Could use some repairs.
Yeah. It's happened more than once.
It's only 2 nickels, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Right? See, you're getting
no, don't you apologize, Derek. It's a lot of comics to remember. Y'all reminding us about stuff every day.
Right? some comic book fans don't seem to understand how bisexuality works.
It's true. Like, take this as an educational moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Jesus. Okay, John Yerkeba, don't feel bad, Ryan. Thank you. One of my favorite shows ever is Legends of Korra, and while I love Legends, I love all that stuff, by the way. And while I dug the ending the first time around, it wasn't until I still watched it again, I was like, oh.
Oh, John, yeah. Spoiler alert, they were gay. they were in love in a romantic way.
Black Pig's Cassandra Cain Batgirl versus X-23 would be good too. Absolutely.
Or consider Damian X-23, Cassandra Cain versus Wolverine.
Dude, there's so much I think I would, again, because everything is Marvel. To me, I feel like there's been so many new characters added in DC, but I feel like the momentum has completely shifted on Marvel of who are the bigger deals.
Yeah.
Right? So now is the time you do Shazam versus Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You do again, I could just keep going.
Yeah.
Also, here's another one. Red Hood versus Winter Soldier. Let's get it.
Oh yeah.
Right? We all
That'd be
that.
cool. That'd be really cool. I like that one a lot.
Yep, and they fight, and we're gonna do a whole gender reversal mode on this one too. They fight in the shower. That's how this is gonna go. Because
He said it, not me.
well, I'm just saying, because I mean, like this, I always bring that up because in the Harley Ivy miniseries that came out in the late '90s, early 2000s, it was Bruce Timm, and of course, this is Bruce Timm, right? And Paul Dini. They did the book together, and every issue had one scene of them in the shower. So it was 4-issue miniseries, but somehow there would be like them starting off in the shower. Then all of a sudden, another issue, they'd have a fight in the shower. And so regardless, there's always a shower scene in every issue. And so every time I go back to that, and I kind of go, you know what? Let the boys fight in the shower. Why the hell not? Right? Alice and Troy, or they were bisexual women who just weren't into men sexually.
It happens. Women are very pretty.
They are.
Gotham Stalker, that Young Justice comic with Tim and Steph, started in 2016. So it wasn't that long ago. Not to age us all, but that was 7 years ago. So to say that Tim coming out as bisexual is sudden when his last relationship, and using Steph as the example, when his relationship with her ended 7 years ago.
I want to point this. No, it's longer than that. It's 2016. We're hitting 2024. We are almost at the 10-year mark of The Force Awakens. So I just want to, I want to also use that as an example as well. We are almost at the 10-year mark. 10 years since Force Awakens. That is insane to me. Time is not your friend.
And look, I'm totally, again, open to say, like, if you don't like Bernard specifically or anything, like, y'all know how I feel about Jay Nakamura, John Kent's boyfriend, but a lot of this conversation is this weird, I'm going to like call y'all out, I'm sorry. It's this weird shock and denial about Tim being bisexual at all. And it's not changing, you guys. He's bi. The writing's been on the wall. And again, using Steph specifically as an argument, it just doesn't stand up. It doesn't.
Yeah.
And I'm not sorry.
Don't be. No one's asking you to be. Be ruthless. That's why we have a platform, so that you can just let it out.
Bernard's better to him than Steph ever was. And Steph deserves better than how Tim treated her. Tim literally used the argument that Robin and Tim Drake were two different people so he could have two different girlfriends. And that's the relationship y'all are holding up?
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm not gonna lie, one of my favorite covers from the original Robin series is like it takes place, I think it's like Endless Winter, like that during that big crossover. It wasn't a big crossover event, it was just like a crossover event. And it's Tim and Steph making out in the snow, and I was like, that's my cover.
You're like, that's what I want.
That's what I want. I want to make out in the snow. Me being a Canadian boy. I don't care with who. Anybody. Just got some recommended reading here from Randall. New Shazam #1 was kick-ass. Mark Waid is a god. That and his world's finest. We're going to try and get an interview with Mark Waid this summer. We're going to go down to SummerCon down in Washington.
Yeah, I will say SummerCon is the same weekend as my town's local log show. So it's a big choice to make too. True story.
Okay.
True story.
So it might be just me. We'll see.
I'm just saying the log show is walking distance from my house.
Right. It's all good. It usually ends in the shower, but good for them.
Good for that.
Derek Hoover, well, Wizard already did sort of a Red Hood versus Winter Soldier April Fool's issue. Jason Todd versus Bucky. Just the two clothed skeletons played next to each other. Oh
my gosh, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yeah, that must be definitely the 90s. But you know what? I think, yes, and I will go out of my way to make you all feel old, because I do every time. We just went on for like an hour and a half with all this, but thank you, chat, for being here, hanging out with us, letting us both go on our soapbox. and let it all out when we need to. And this chat is still going. I love all of you guys so much. Thank you all so much for hanging out here. Lexi, do you have any last words? Anything you need to plug?
Yeah, I actually do just want to address one more comment from Gotham Stalker here, because I think that this is really important. You say, I don't care the relationship specifically. I wasn't fond of them making a Robin bi gay after so many years of that being a joke that Robin and Batman are gay, and then making Tim bi just because. And I do just want to say that this is a really dangerous road to go down, to talk about, I mean, Batman is a grown man who's had child Robins. So the comments about them being gay, it's like, first of all, being gay is not a joke. But second of all, relating being gay to what would be a pedophilic relationship, a borderline incestuous one, is also not a joke. And then Tim coming out as bi does not validate any of that negativity. If anything, it should be a reclaiming of it. So to say that people have mocked these characters for being gay, therefore they should always be straight, is absolutely why they need to be gay. It's absolutely why that representation has to exist, actually.
And I agree with that. And I know where Gotham Stalker's coming from, because this is like a narrative that Kevin Smith used to say all the time too, where it was like he wanted to make Batman and Robin gay jokes, and DC was like, no. And he and again too, it was just one of those things where I totally get it too, because again, when was it Seduction of the Innocent? That book that came out in the 50s, that whoever he was, the bigotry back then, right? But he had bigotry all what was it? Wonder Woman. Everybody was gay. That's what he was pretty much writing a book about, and how bad it is for your kids. And I mean, this is shit that we're still dealing. I hate getting political sometimes, but this is shit that we're still dealing with.
Yeah.
It's more so in the States than up here, but we have to hear about it.
Yeah.
Then it gives people up here the idea that, oh, well, if the state says that, then it must be true. And I mean, this is still shit that we are still going through. And, I think, and I do think, it's important for that. But
yeah, and I do, there's still comments coming in about, Tim's coming out being jarring or this, that, and the other, because, we're used to him being a certain way. But there are things that are constantly changing about these characters, their ages, their backstories, all of these things. And you don't see that same level of, but I don't like it for these very, very sometimes aggressive reasons that you do about Tim being bisexual, when quite frankly, Tim being bisexual actually changes less about his character than just about anything else. It doesn't change his past relationships. It doesn't change his personality. It doesn't change his family history. It doesn't change his dynamic with the Bat family. This actually changes nothing other than his next partner, really. So to say that this is a thing that is jarring and, changes this character so much, when other changes actually change and adjust these characters and are so normalized, then I do think that needs to be a real internal look.
Right. But we still love you, and thank you for making this comment too, because this is important stuff to bring up. Right? So
yeah.
Thank you for being here right at the end, Brick something. But yeah, let's try this again, because we're at an hour and a half. This has been awesome. Lexi, do you have any anything you need to shout out? Anything you want to plug? You got shorts coming out as well, some YouTube shorts. I think that you're gonna.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once we get some more free time, we're gonna be working on some YouTube shorts. I don't want to hype them up too much because they are based on my free time, unfortunately, and I do have a lot going on. But yeah, otherwise, I'm going to keep trying to be here as weekly and consistently as I can be, and I'm happy to be here.
That's awesome. Okay, I won't be here next week, so Lexi's gonna have to go solo if she is here. So just keep an eye out for that. If she's running late, just make sure you hit that notification bell so that you know that when she jumps on, then then she's ready and everything is working. Who knows? Maybe she'll be on her full-fledged setup.
Maybe we'll get it working.
Yeah, it's a Lexi surprise. We don't know. It's a
You never know what's coming.
Right? So you get her all to yourself next week if that's what ends up happening. I will be back the week after. I am going to Los Angeles. I'm actually going to the Warner Brothers studio tour. So I'm also going to be there to collect some content for this channel because I want to get stuff of all the Batmobiles and all the comic books and all the costume setups, all that kind of stuff that they have on display. So I'll be doing some of that. Also this Friday, again, just to kind of quickly announce, we're probably going to do an episode on Superpowers and all those releases that are coming out on Friday and those reveals, those pre-orders. So if there's big news coming out for that, we are going to do an episode. Myself, Jay, Craig, Lexi are also more than welcome to hang out with us and talk about action figures. As always, you are always more than welcome at any point in time. And, that all depends because we might not do it because if they don't reveal anything, there's no point in doing an episode. If they do, we'll be here on Friday. And again, we're on our way to 1,000. I know I am going on and on and on. We are close to 1,000 subscribers. We are going to do members only prizes. We are going to do short members only streams, and as well as not even for people that. And we're also going to have prizes. I'll have prizes set up for people that are just hanging out and viewing. So, you know what? Because thank you for subscribing and being here and watching. So, again, thank you so much. Thank you, Lexi, for just being here and
thank you, Ryan. Thanks everyone for being so patient with my tech issues at the beginning.
Oh, man, I don't know what I could do without you because you bring such a perspective to this show that I could never bring, and I'm so thankful and grateful that you're here and on the show and in my life. So thank you for that. And again, thank you everyone. Have a great night, Gotham. And I'll see you in a couple weeks. Lexi will see you next week.